Would you be the jerk for encouraging your friend's toddler to take their first steps when the parents aren't around? We'll get into that in a bit, but first, am I the jerk for telling my dad I can't see how his prank was funny? I, 16, live with my mom and visit my dad every Saturday. Last Saturday was different though. He asked to meet outside for lunch instead of having me over. When I ordered an iced latte, he snorted. I asked him what's so funny and he said he pulled a prank on my stepmom. Now, Dad enjoys these things. He used to play a lot of videos of cats in heat to see our male's cat reaction to the sound, along with videos of dogs barking. Switched off the light when I was in the toilet several times. Once, he put a snake plush next to my mom when she was sleeping, knowing she's terrified of snakes. A lot of shouting that day, so I asked him what he did. He said he made her latte but with whole milk instead of her usual oat milk, knowing she is vegan. Wanted to see if she'll be able to tell. She got really upset at him, hence why he asked to meet outside. Then Dad said to me, "That's funny, right?" And I just pulled a face and said, "Don't think so, Dad," because I couldn't see how it's funny. He looked annoyed and said that people these days can't take a joke. Told me that I'm his son and supposed to side with him, saying that I shouldn't be judgmental since it was harmless. I'd actually love to have a discussion with somebody who thinks that OP's dad isn't the jerk here. The stepmom clearly has their own either beliefs or just personal dietary choices, and I think secretly serving them something that goes directly against that is not like a joke prank thing. At least I don't think it should be considered that way. I'm not saying that it's necessarily like full-on assault or something, but still. Our fourth commented, "It was harmless. No wonder he's divorced." That harmless latte could have made his vegan wife really sick. She would absolutely know the difference, and so would their toilet. And I'm betting she kicked his butt bully self up for his bullying. Keep calling him out. Bullies like your dad always hide behind, "It's just a joke," instead of taking accountability. A joke is funny. Terrifying your wife with a stuffy isn't funny, not the jerk. Also, hi, I'm Steven, and if you guys enjoy getting to decide whether or not all of these people are jerks, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons down below? Our next story is, am I the jerk for not crocheting a blanket for someone I don't know? Hi, I'm a 19-year-old female avid crocheter. I've been doing this roughly for 5 years consistently. It's my favorite hobby. For context, I'm currently in college, and in my writing class, there's this girl who I've had maybe 5 full conversations with her. We are 100% not friends or acquaintances. We're doing a compare and contrast essay on 2 random things. I chose to do types of yarn because I know it like the back of my hand. My teacher jokingly asked me if I was going to bring him a crocheted blanket to show off for the class, and I was joking back. After class, this girl comes up to me and asks if I can crochet her a blanket for free because you seem to do it all the time, so it can't be that hard. I laughed because I seriously thought she was joking. She was not. She got mad at me after I told her no, and then called me selfish. I told her I don't know her, and I'm not comfortable making her something like that. Some people in the class are telling me to suck it up and just do it so she could stop complaining, but the other half agree and think it's weird that she's asking me to do it. Am I the jerk here? I feel bad for saying no, but I also don't owe her anything. So this kind of reminds me of a time where I had spent some time working for a volunteer game project. And one of the things we were working on was wanting to try to improve the website because it wasn't very good. I remember having an experience where I pointed out a few basic things that I would like to have done, like background colors and formatting and things, and I laid it all out and sent it over to the web designer guy and said, "It should be easy, no problem." And so what I hear back from the web designer guy is, "Well, if it's so easy, do you want to do it?" I remember at the time being like, dang, this guy is hostile, but in retrospect, I guess I kind of was downplaying the actual work and effort it takes to make those things happen. All that to say, I think OP's definitely not the jerk. It's a lot of work to crochet a blanket, especially for free. Not a Stray Cat commented, "Not the jerk. I also crochet, and a blanket is a lot of time and effort plus the cost of materials. It's ridiculous that she asked this. I had a family member ask if I could make a baby blanket, but the timing they asked was insanely impossible. I made it, but they certainly didn't get it in a week." Our next story is, am I the jerk for showing my girlfriend some criticism of Taylor Swift's latest album after she asked for it? My girlfriend is a big Taylor Swift fan. Last weekend when we were cuddling, I asked how she liked the latest album. She'd really been waiting for it to drop. She said it was good and asked me how I liked it. I said I hadn't gotten the chance to listen to it, but I had just asked because some people were flaming it on X. She asked me about what. I said I wasn't sure, just that I'd read it when it came across me. She insisted that she wanted to see the posts, so I just showed them to her. She read it, disagreed with a few of them out loud, tried to explain to me why they were wrong, and I just agreed with her. Last night when we were driving, one of the songs in the latest album came up on her Spotify, and during it, she told me I'd ruined the album and Taylor Swift for her. I thought she was joking, but she was serious. Am I the jerk for having brought up all the criticism I came across to her? I really don't think OP's the jerk here. I think it's kind of a case of allowing themselves to be influenced by others' opinions. It's okay if you like something that critically most people say is not good. In fact, with some things like games, I almost kind of prefer the bad games and the weird games because I enjoy how broken and wonky they are. If OP's own opinions, or OP showing their girlfriend the opinions of some loud voices on X and their opinions on Taylor Swift's music, somehow influence her to no longer enjoy Taylor Swift and her music or her latest album, I just don't see that being OP's fault. I see that as more of a personal issue. It would be no different than if you had a favorite pizza place that you went to all the time and you enjoyed it. You went online and looked at the Google reviews or whatever and realized everybody is saying that it's a mid pizza. You know, this place is average at best if you're lucky. And allowing that to, for whatever reason, tarnish your memories and your personal feelings about that pizza place forever, even though nothing's changed. Prissy1997 commented, "Do you and her have bad blood now?" Zombie and Zeus replied, "They are never ever ever getting back together." Our next story is, am I the jerk for calling my friend's husband a useless piece of crap? My best friend and her husband have 4 kids, 8-year-old female, 6-year-old female, 4-year-old female, and 3-year-old female. My friend's husband is a great dad when someone's there to help. When he's alone with all 4 kids, he gets overwhelmed and freezes. A few weeks ago, my friend was sick, so I brought over dinner. We thought it was just a bad cold. When we were eating, my friend went to the bathroom and the 3-year-old followed her. 3-year-old came running out saying her mom was throwing up. All the kids ran to the bathroom, followed by me and my friend's husband. I helped her clean up while her husband went to get her nausea medicine and a thermometer. When he came back, I asked him to get the kids out of the bathroom so she could have some space. After we got the kids out, I took her temp and it came back at almost 104, so I went to get her some Tylenol and water. I get back, and the kids are all in the bathroom again because their dad can't keep them away from the bathroom for 2 minutes. I give her the Tylenol and water, and she almost immediately starts to vomit again, then passes out. Her husband just stood there while I was trying to get her into recovery position, get the kids away from her, and call 911. I managed to get all of them out of the bathroom, and her husband is coming back every 20 seconds asking if I can call their nanny to help with the kids, if I can go to the hospital with her, did I start the dishwasher, or does he need to hand wash the youngest sippy cup, etc. When my friend regained consciousness, he even started asking her how to do bedtime for the little ones. Did she wash their pajamas yet? Did they get screen time that day, or can he put on a movie? I told him his wife couldn't hold his hand right now and he just had to figure it out. He told me that he's not usually the one that deals with this and he's trying his best, and then goes back to asking what stories the kids like. What setting does he put the sound machine on and how do they like their milk? I just snapped and told him to figure it out on his own and called him a useless piece of crap. It's been nearly a month and he still acts all pissy when I stop by the house. My friend says he'll get over it, but my boyfriend thinks I was unnecessarily rude and he was trying his best. Am I the jerk for calling him a useless piece of crap when he couldn't handle his own kids when his wife was experiencing a medical emergency? Personally, I think it was justifiable considering the circumstances of the situation. I mean, it's tense, she's clearly not okay and in need of medical help. And the husband isn't doing anything to keep the kids under control, is pacing back and forth, asking a bunch of useless questions that really any adult with any level of intuition can probably at least take a stab at and try to figure out. I mean, I think the most blatant example is, why does he need to ask his clearly very ill wife, "Hey, do I need to hand wash the youngest sippy cup or not? Just go hand wash it just to be sure and be done with it." Positive Relative 775 commented, "Honestly, I think you were too kind. Would he even have called 911 if you weren't there? Or just shaken her awake to ask her why she was slacking off? This dude is not a good dad, he's cosplaying while his wife works herself to serious illness. I bet she hasn't been given any help to recover either. I would be making it my life mission to make this dude miserable and get my friend ready for a divorce. She's already a single mom. Removing him would be a net drop in care work because she has to parent him as well. Our next story is, am I the jerk for threatening to move out? Bit of background info, parents have 3 bio kids and 1 foster kid, but he came to us not very long after he was born, probably less than a month I believe, and before anyone starts questioning that, his mother was seen as an unfit parent and had to give up all of her children before and after him as well. Bio father is unknown. I'm the oldest son, have an older and youngest sister, oldest sister has moved out. Little sister Katie is 16, foster brother Jake is 15. I'm 23, finished uni a little less than a year ago and live at home still. The reason for that is relevant. My parents' house is old. Very, very old. In the sense that if you want to renovate, it's a pain in the butt because everything has been renovated a million times already. Heating works via an oven you throw wood into. Want hot water or it not to be ice cold? Start a fire, wait an hour, it'll start heating up slowly. Not as big of a deal in summer, but annoying in winter. Another thing, I have a dog that's fully mine, has been my responsibility since I was a teen. I'm not going to go into detail because that's probably boring the most, but I feed her raw food as well as my parents' dog. My parents aren't interested in learning anything about it. Their dog doesn't know anything but raw, and they don't ever want to switch that. My younger siblings don't know how the oven works. Equals refuse to learn regardless of how often they're shown, and also refuse taking care of anything animal related. My parents both still work, bus connections are crap, so at least once a week I'm driving both my siblings somewhere. Now they're both on school break, fall break, and my brother plays video games late into the night. No issue, he wears a headset, only he yells. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be woken up by yelling over Fortnite at 2 a.m. when I have to get up at 6 a.m. for work. I tell him, he stops for a day, it starts again. It's like that every break. My parents say that I need to be understanding because he has ADHD. I'm not a doctor, but that doesn't make you yell in the middle of the night, does it? Now, in the past, I would just ignore it, but I have savings. I could move out, move away, and enjoy my freedom. My parents don't want that because, oh, but Katie gets cold when we're working in the morning, or who's gonna drive Jake to chess? And who's gonna feed Bello? I told them either to get him to shut up at night or they can deal with it themselves and I'll move out. My mom claims I'm threatening them with that. I don't think that's a threat, but a boundary. I want to sleep. In part, I can understand why it's upsetting. They would have to change their work schedules and my dad would have to do all the physical work around the house himself. Jake does not help. I don't want to be some ungrateful son who treats his parents like dirt, but I'm so annoyed with being woken up. You know, this is kind of an interesting one to me because most situations are people who are terribly upset with their parents or their relatives, and all they want is to be able to move out, but they just can't support themselves. OP says they are in a position where they can move out and support themselves, but they're kind of like guilt-tripping themselves. Like, to be fair, it does suck to feel like you're that one single lone thread keeping things together for your family, and leaving means you're taking a scissors to them and making it harder for everybody there. But I don't think it's fair for you to sacrifice your life in your early 20s, and one of the most important things, your sleep, to keep that thread holding up. Spiritual Bridge 3027 commented, "Sleep deprivation is literally a torture and you are absolutely not the jerk for wanting to sleep well, especially when you have to wake up early to go to work. Your brother is not a toddler. ADHD or not, he needs to behave better. However, don't just threaten to move out, start saving, have more than an emergency fund ready, and actually move out. Your family will get its act together." Our next story is, am I the jerk for ruining a vacation for my future mother-in-law? I, 25-year-old female, am a mixed individual who was born and raised in South Africa, specifically Cape Town. My family and I moved to Canada when I was 16, and it was when I was studying here for university that I met my fiancé, 24-year-old male. My fiancé's mom, 54-year-old female, has always been someone who loves to travel. So I wasn't surprised when at our last family dinner, she announced her plans to take the family on vacation again. However, she announced that this year's family trip would be to Cape Town. I was immediately concerned for a number of reasons. As someone who grew up there, I can confirm that the area has high crime rates and can be very dangerous, especially if you're a woman, and I know she's planning on taking her daughter, 17-year-old female, with her. I was shocked when she mentioned that this was her plan. She immediately began asking me questions. What did I think about the vacation? Did I want to come with them? What should she pack? I was and still am very concerned for her safety, as she isn't exactly a street-smart person. It must have been clear on my face because she asked why I looked so shocked. I told her outright that if I was her, I would reconsider the destination, as while it's gorgeous, it's not a safe place to travel without prior experience or a close friend to help you, especially with a teenage girl in your travel party. Almost immediately, she accused me of being rude and discouraging. She said that she had been excited about this trip and I was trying to ruin it for her. She even went as far as to imply that my mixed heritage had tainted how I viewed the city. My fiance and I left immediately. He says I did the right thing by trying to keep them safe, but I still feel awful. Am I the jerk? I don't think OP's the jerk here. I mean, if they have experience of the place, they know that it's a dangerous place to go, and frankly, the people that are going there aren't exactly the street-smart people they might think they are. Can you be the jerk for saying, just a heads up, you probably should reconsider that? I mean, if you really want to break it down, OP wasn't insulting them, didn't say anything about their character or their choices or their opinions. OP more or less simply stated that they don't think it's a great place to go to for them. Is that not kind of exactly what they were asking OP's opinion for? Giant Brown Guy commented, not the jerk. You're protecting her from her own ignorance. Rather, she be offended than ended. She's being incredibly naive about the safety risks in a place like Cape Town for a non-local. Our next story is, am I the jerk for yelling at my boyfriend because he woke me up? My, female 39, boyfriend, male 43, gets up at 5:30 a.m. for work. He usually turns on the light and goes about getting ready between the bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. I usually don't mind him going in and out a couple of times. This morning, he turns on the light, goes in and makes a cup of coffee, and then comes back in and asks me to move to the other side of the bed so he can relax in bed and have his coffee. In a daze, I did. About 2 minutes later, I'm ticked. He's got the light on, scrolling on his phone, drinking his coffee, and tapping his foot, like an ankle-shaking type nervous thing. I get up and he asks where I'm going. I say, well, either home to sleep the rest of my 1.5 hours, or to make some coffee, I guess. He in turn goes on about how my bad attitude has ruined his day for work. As far as I know, usually when one person gets up before the other, they may turn on the light for a minute to get dressed or get their clothes for the day, and turn the light back off and go into another room. It's the polite and thoughtful thing to do. My mom says I'm not the jerk, but that maybe he just wanted to be next to me. Am I the jerk for snapping at my boyfriend for completely waking me up and asking me to move over and keep me awake? I think OP's not the jerk here, and I think honestly, if this kind of thing is to be expected and usual, he really just needs to do the work to have an outfit planned the night before so they can just grab it, step out of the room, try and do minimal bothering of their partner who's trying to get their sleep in. I mean, as I just get older and older, I realize sleep is so darn important. You can't be like allowing things like this to happen. And I think it's a really fixable thing that otherwise you're going to come to resent your partner heavily for. Anonymous commented, not the jerk. Sounds like he doesn't want you sleeping over anymore, so he's making mornings unpleasant for you. He knows how crappy it is to wake you up earlier than necessary, and he would have had his coffee on the couch if he cared about your comfort. He didn't want to be next to you. Our next story is, am I the jerk for crashing out because my friend called me a passport bro? I'm male, 26. I've been with my boyfriend, Luca, for 5 years. Basically, we met when I went to Italy for a photography project, and we clicked really fast. I'm fluent in Italian, I've been learning since I was 10, and he's 100% Italian as well. 2 years ago, I moved in with him in Italy. A week ago, we visited Canada, where I'm from, and stayed at my friend Emma's house. She was basically all over Luca and flirting with him and everything. Luca told me he was uncomfortable and I told her to stop, and then she started freaking swearing at me, saying crap like I was creepy for going for Italian men. Luca is legit the only Italian man I know. Then she called me a passport bro? And then she was like, "You're freaking creepy because he has a more feminine and younger face. So basically you're attracted to younger Italian men." The jumps. This girl jumped. Luca and I are the same age. And she was like, "You're not teaching him English so he can be clueless and you can feed your white savior complex." At that point, I freaking crashed out and said some not nice things, and told her she should lay off on the Omegaverse yaoi she was reading, which was kind of out of left field for me to say, I admit, but I was mad. Now she's mad and got our mutual friends to gang up on me, and Luca's saying that I should apologize but also set boundaries with her. Am I the jerk? Also, sorry for the really bad format and grammar. So for anybody out there that doesn't know what that Omegaverse, what is, I'm not going to explain because it's not appropriate. That said, as long as this person is above age and can consent, OP's doing nothing wrong here. And some people have younger looking faces. That doesn't make it a crime. I guess realistically it just kind of reeks of jealousy or something. Mobile Cranberry 575 commented, "Not the jerk for getting upset with your friend. That happens when insulted by a friend. The way this post is written though, you definitely suck." Our next story is, am I the jerk for allowing 2 kids to have their bikes stolen? For context, I am normally the only adult who stands at my daughter's bus stop. We've had problems with people blasting past the school bus, and kids 8 years and under playing on or near the street with no parents in sight. So I decided to start sticking around, because I have the time, just to make sure the kids get on safely, and at times stall the bus driver to give that last late arrival a chance to make it on. This is relevant because I've become pretty familiar with the parents of the other children. You see, I work late at a night graveyard shift. This pretty much means that while everyone else is preparing to start their workday, I just need to wait for the kids to get on the bus so that I can go home and head off to bed. This basically designated me as the bus stop dad. Anyways, sorry for rambling, on to the issue at hand. I noticed 2 of my bus stop kids arrived on bikes, so out of curiosity, I asked them why they brought their bikes if they were going to be riding the bus. They told me it was fine, they would just leave them right there and come back for them. Now, at this point, it's about 7:38 a.m., and the bus usually arrives at 7:40. I knew these kids weren't going to make it home and walk back in time, so I let them know that that probably wasn't a good idea. That if they left them right here, somebody might walk off with them. I asked if they had bike locks. They did not. So the best I could do was offer to let them put the bikes on my porch, where I could sit them in front of my Ring camera. The kids accepted, and about this time the bus arrived, so I just told them exactly where my house was. 3 houses away from the bus stop where they could find them, and that I couldn't promise to watch them all day because I needed to get to sleep. I also texted this information to their mother. Well, unfortunately, as I slept, somebody walked up on my porch and took the bikes. Camera got a pretty clear picture of them, so at least there's that. I slept right through the chime that the Ring camera gives when somebody walks within proximity of it, so I sent the bad news to the mother, along with the video. Next thing I know, I have a very angry dad pounding on my door, demanding I give the kids back their property. After I explained the situation to him once again, he claimed I made it my responsibility to protect the bikes. Therefore, I should replace them. I refused. I told him it wasn't my fault his kids rode their bikes to the bus stop, and I did the best I could. Well, now I'm standing here waiting for the police to show up. Bringing the bikes into my house was not an option, as I wouldn't have been home by the time those kids got back, nor would my wife. My mom picks up my daughter at the bus stop. So anyway, my question is, Reddit, am I the jerk? Update. Thank you everybody for your supportive comments and honest insights. Happy to say things ended up working out. After the incident, I received a message from the mother of the boys informing me that after she had time to look over the footage, she recognized the person on the video. It was her brother. Apparently he came by, grabbed the bikes, took them to his garage for safekeeping, got busy, and forgot about them. Both parents are very apologetic, and I'm not going to hold any hard feelings. I completely understand the father's reaction. I probably would have acted the same way if my kid's property was stolen. Things will continue as usual. I'm going to keep on being bus dad, but if I'm being honest, lesson learned. No more playing Lost and Found Guardian. So I do think OP did the best they could. They did kind of like that community neighborly thing and tried to look out for these kids and their property. I just would find it to be a very sad thing if somehow OP was found liable for the bikes being stolen because they were on OP's property or something, like they had to be some true guardian of them. Human Obligation 3621 commented, "Not the jerk." Giving the dad some grace, I imagine he's feeling very upset about the loss of 2 bicycles all at once and is lashing out irrationally. Hopefully the bikes are found quickly and dad will come to his senses and apologize. If they were stolen from your porch with a visible camera, they definitely would have been stolen from the bus stop. At least now you have video of the perpetrators. If they're not high-value bicycles, they were most likely taken by teenagers joyriding who will ride them and leave them somewhere. If they are high-value bicycles, the dad should have taught his kids better and ensured they always had a lock for them. Expensive lessons for the kids and dad. Regardless, not your fault. You did your best to help them after they all made a series of bad choices. Our next story is, am I the jerk for having my friend's toddler take her first steps while their parents weren't there? So I'm friends with this guy that I've known since kindergarten. He got married some years ago, and now him and his wife have a little baby girl, and she's currently at toddler age. I come over often enough that I'm used to seeing the little bugger, and she's great. I don't have any other little kids from family or anything in my life, so it's been great seeing a little human grow. Every once in a blue moon, they ask me to watch her for a few hours while my friend and his wife get some date time or whatever they need to do. So I was hanging out with her, and I know that they've been trying to get her to take her first steps. I read about a trick where if you make them hold something, then they'll walk without holding onto a surface. So I gave her a toy and filmed it, and it worked. I sent the video to them and my friend didn't care, he was just happy, but his wife was ticked. She was mad at me that they weren't there for that big moment. I don't have the type of relationship with her where I can have a deep one-on-one with her, but I talked to my friend about it and he's not upset with me, but his wife still is. She thinks that I robbed her of a key moment. I did get it on film, but I get what she's saying. I had no malicious intent, but was I the jerk for getting the toddler to take those first steps? I honestly didn't think the trick would work, but it did. You know, I myself am having a really hard time trying to figure out if this person is the jerk or not the jerk, because I just have zero experience with kids. I'd love to know in the comments if people think this guy clearly is the jerk or not. Like, to me, it seemed like they were innocently testing out a theory and it happened to work and they caught it on film. Like, was it morally wrong for them to try to, see if this kid could walk using that trick? I don't know. Should OP have lied about it and allowed the parents to discover their kid walking for the first time? In terms of etiquette, would that be the more proper thing to do? Beautiful Cup 4161 commented, "Note to everyone, if someone else's kid has a first something in your care, they didn't. You take that information to your grave." In 3 words, they said, replied, "My wife worked in a daycare and this was unwritten, but a very clearly communicated policy. Crap, if my kid started walking when my wife wasn't around and I didn't have a phone handy, I might have had to trip her myself." Our next story is, am I the jerk for leaving my friend stranded after she showed up late for the 3rd time? Hey guys, I'm 23 and I drive a small Honda Accord and I usually give my friend Tiana, who's 22, rides to work since we live close by and start work around the same time. We both agree that she helps with gas every 2 weeks and I pick her up on my way. It worked fine for the first month without any problems. After the first month, she started running late very frequently. Every single time I would text her, "I'm outside," and she would take 10 or 15 minutes to come out, sometimes even longer. I've tried being patient, but I kept showing up late to work because of it. My boss even noticed once, which isn't a good sign. So I decided to talk to her about it. Last Friday, I warned her that I'd only wait 5 minutes because I couldn't afford another late mark to risk my job. When I pulled up, I texted her, "Here." She said, "1 sec." After waiting 5 minutes, I called, but she didn't answer. I waited another minute and called again, and same thing, I then left. About 15 minutes later, she spammed my phone with tons of messages saying I abandoned her and made her walk in the heat, and that she missed the first part of her shift. I told her that I was sorry, but I'd already warned her multiple times. She said I should have waited because that's what friends do. She hasn't spoken to me since, and one of our mutual friends said I was kind of harsh and could have just waited 5 extra minutes to keep the peace. Now I'm wondering if I was too rigid about it. I know life happens, but I feel like she just didn't respect my time. Am I the jerk for leaving without her after she made me late so many times? Yeah, OP's not the jerk here. They had a friend that just didn't respect their time and the service that they were providing. I mean, how many people out there would kill for a taxi or an Uber service where all they have to do is help pay for the gas every 2 weeks? I mean, that's a killer deal. The least they could do is show up on time for it. I mean, shoot, my sim is more responsible for showing up for the carpool than OP's friend was. Infamous Purple 3131 commented, "She hasn't spoken to me since, and one of our mutual friends said I was kind of harsh and could have just waited 5 extra minutes to keep the peace. Tell mutual friend to drive the inconsiderate late person to work." OP responded, "One of them said, 'What are friends for if not for convenience?'" I just stopped replying at that point. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. Now, if you want to hear another absolutely crazy Am I the Jerk Here story, check out that video on the left. Or if you missed my latest video, check out that video on the right. That said, I'll see you all next time with some more stories.